Welcome everyone to the first podcasting event of the Creative Future Podcast Project. First off, we would like to acknowledge the Turrbal and Yugara as the First Nation owners of the land where we stand now. We pay respect to their elders, laws, customs, and creation spirits. We recognise that these lands have always been places of teaching, research, and learning. We acknowledge the important role Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people play within our community. Alrighty, so let's get into it. I'm excited to introduce our first guest today. His name's Kevin Collett. Kevin is a QUT alumni who graduated from a Bachelor of Music, in which he now uses to forward his increasingly successful music career. He has written and co-produced numerous songs, with a recent release of his newest single, Falls, which you can find on Spotify, YouTube, and through our Instagram at Creative Future Podcast. So that's really exciting. How's that been?
Good.
Yeah, good.
You're really good at this, Josh. I didn't think you'd be this good.
I didn't think I would be either.
Thanks for having me.
No, that's all right. Thanks for coming in. Now, as this is our first podcast of many, I'll give a brief overview of what we'll be talking about today, so you guys will have a comprehensive understanding of how these podcasts will be structured, just before we get into Kevin and I. So Kevin and I will be talking about a bit about himself, his music career, his bachelor degree, how he's used the skills from his bachelor degree to enhance his positioning in the music industry, and a few really interesting tips and personal experiences Kevin can pass on to you guys to help out all those aspiring musicians break into this saturated market. Before we start to get into the nitty-gritty, can you just tell us a bit about yourselves so we can give our listeners a person to connect with?
Hey guys, my name is Kevin Collett. I'm 23 years old and I'm a pop and R&B singer. I grew up in a small town called Stanthorpe, Queensland, and I moved to Brisbane in 2013, end of 2013, to pursue a music career, and I studied in 2014 at QUT, Bachelor of Music, which is now Bachelor of Fine Arts. And graduated that in 2016, and ever since then, I still, to this day, I'm 23 now, are pursuing music.
So now that we've gotten to know you a little bit more and just your kind of day-to-day life, I know I've known you personally for a long time, and we became friends from working at good old Peter Alexander, making bank. I don't really, look, when I first met you, I didn't really know that you were actually into music and that you were an up-and-coming singer and songwriter. Would you say that's because you've had a bit of a struggle getting into the groove and producing your own music in this industry?
So a little bit of backstory about us meeting was that we met in 2017?
In 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
So I just graduated uni.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, there was a lot of drive to do music, but I didn't really know how to make it happen. And coming off a full-time degree and getting like support from Centrelink and whatnot, I had to find a full-time job.
Yeah.
So I found a full-time job at Peter Alexander where I hired you.
I'm sure you're making lots of music there.
Oh no, I wasn't really. I was a bit in that. That's the thing, like musicians, you're not always going, like life happens, and
yeah,
it's a big, it's very stressful, because I'm not dumb. I know that I need to make an income. I need to save to the future, and it's music, it doesn't give you that security. So I think at that time I just wanted a bit of security to help my music, and then I just fell into working full time, and that's probably why you didn't really know that I did music until the following year, where I dropped back to like part time. And
then you started playing guitar in the workplace.
Yeah,
you started singing. And we were all like, what?
I would go around and I'd go to like all the open mic nights in Brisbane and just have a strum and try and fall back in love with it again.
So was getting in the pathway from graduating from QUT Music to writing and producing your songs uneasy to navigate?
It was a bit of a struggle because I graduated at 21, so I was still pretty young. But I did learn a lot at university. I had a lot of tools, but it just took me a while to, get the confidence to start writing my own stuff. Seeing as like QUT, we were put into group settings a lot. So, you'd bounce off people and, write in groups every week. So when you're by yourself and it's real life, no one's making you push yourself to write songs. It's a bit harder, but I got there in the end.
Yeah, because you met your girlfriend through that degree, didn't you?
Yeah, me and Chloe met. We met 2 years prior to the degree in a state school's on-stage production called Creative Generation.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I first got the taste of, singing on stage and really enjoying it. And she was a backing vocalist, and then we hit it off, and then we did uni together, and we're still doing life together.
Love story. Who knew that QUT music would bring people together?
There was actually a lot of romances in our bloody cohort. I don't know if any of them are still going.
Well, you're going so strong,
We're
so there
flying
you
the
go.
flag, QUT.
So what was your experience like when putting music out there on platforms such as Spotify?
Good so far. It's a thing called a distribution company, so it's a company who you will forward your song to, and they make sure they put it everywhere. I use DistroKid starting, and that's just like a really, really big one. I don't think they take, or maybe like 2% royalties or anything like that. And then I went for a local one called GyroStream for my last single, and they made sure it was everywhere. Featured me like in a couple playlists, which was good.
Yeah, that's cool, because I've seen you popping up a few times on the socials, and that's probably just because I follow you. And
definitely. I haven't paid for like a big PR push yet. I'm still writing and waiting till I'm really confident in the songs I have, because you always will get better, and I feel like I'm at a stage where I'm starting to really.
So would you say that PR push is the next step?
Probably. Like I've got a fair few songs up my sleeve that I'll probably plan out for next year, and then probably a couple of those songs I'll put some money behind. Definitely.
Yeah, cool. Because you had a few singles released before your recent song.
So I started off doing indie music because I thought that was cool.
Triple J,
Triple J listeners would love me. Sing about like freaking drinking piss with the boys. And it soon found out that it wasn't really fulfilling, and if you're going to do music, just do what you want to do, and if people don't think it's cool, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I think that's just such a struggle in our age group, especially
with, especially
the peer pressure,
especially in Australia with Triple J scene and all these all your friends are into the same shit, so you be on that wave. But it's like, for me, it doesn't really matter. I just want to make pop songs, big pop songs.
Yeah, that's so good that you know exactly what area of genre that you want to go into.
Yeah, it's taken me a while though. So lucky I got there.
Yeah. So have there been any other platforms you're thinking of expanding to? And what is your experience with them?
Platforms like YouTube. Yeah. I've been thinking or planning to do like, how you have those NPR Tiny Desk concerts and the Color Studios type of things where you get on and then you just do your songs stripped back, or do covers of songs stripped back. That's something I'm planning at the moment, just to get stuff out there and get people looking at me, turning more heads. That's a big thing, putting yourself out there even if you're not really confident, because you are aware of like these really awesome, like even the Leica versions every week, like the amount of work that goes in. Those aren't just on the spot like recordings. That's a lot of work and money's been put into making those videos. So you know what's good and you know what's expected, and you got to try and match it, but on your budget and then in your own Kevin Collett world, where you don't have like all
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Not hundreds, but just all this awesome equipment and all these awesome resources. But DIY stuff is pretty cool.
So you've played a lot of venues, we all know that. So to list a few, you played at Back Blair Lodge, now the Ivory Tusk, which was Woolly Mammoth. Weird change, hey? I don't know. Their setup is so random now. And the Zoo. What was the process like getting those opportunities? Did you have to sort those out yourself?
A lot of those was with the Grooves, my band. People would just approach us. As soon as you do one gig, or do a support slot for somebody, Brisbane's a super small community, so people will see you and hit you up if they liked you. They'll be like, I'm playing a show here. Can you support? I'm playing a show here. Can you support? The most recent one I did, which was my solo one, just under my name, was at Woolly Mammoth, and that was supporting my friends at Order 66.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, are there many opportunities for work through your own personal experiences? So, have you found that it's been a struggle to find these gigs?
I think I've never had a problem with getting gigs. You can ask around. The good thing about the QUT program is you meet a lot of people who are heavily involved in the Brisbane music scene. So it's not that getting gigs. It's writing, pushing yourself to keep writing the best songs you can. And in this day and age, like you know what's good. It's all around you. So you're constantly comparing yourself to artists who have been doing it for a long time. They're writing amazing songs, and you're just there with no money,
Trying to produce something.
Yeah, trying to produce something on freaking Audacity or some stupid shit. Nah, but you make it happen, and I don't know. I think you just hone your craft, keep honing your craft, and eventually you keep putting out music and putting.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
because when we were talking before this, you mentioned that you are half Filipino, and that your music has come from your family life mainly.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Yeah, and that you've used that to write your music now.
Yeah, 100%. So
what was that thing called? The
Magic Sing is what
Magic
it's called.
Sing, that's right.
It's a national icon in the Philippines. It's like a karaoke machine that every household has to have. It's like
would you say that's the beginning of your career right there?
Oh, not really. I grew up like if you're Filipino, you either sing, you dance, or you're a nurse, or you're a cleaner. I went down the singing path. It was just big passion. My mum was super musical. Yeah. My dad, who isn't Filipino, he's English, but he's super musical as well. And it's just something I always did.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's so good to have that support behind you. It makes it a lot easier.
Oh, it's just my parents were just chill.
Yeah.
They had no expectations of me to go on and make
such a struggle in today's society, especially with students, the pressure to succeed.
Yeah, well, I come from like a low socio-economic, family. My family worked in like packing sheds, and my dad chopped wood for a living, so there's no expectation to like match their salary or anything like that. So, yeah.
Alrighty, so what would you say is the most challenging hurdle that you've overcome in your career?
Probably just keeping at it. I'm 23 now. Everyone around me kind of expects, I don't know, it's every time I say if I was to see you, you'd be like, how's your music going? And it's the constant, like...
Just like the go-to?
It's the constant, like, yeah, it's going, but like no one really knows, and you probably think that it's not really going, and I'm struggling a bit, and I've written a couple songs, I don't know if they're good, but you're just constantly... And then life gets in the way, like, that, it would be nice to save money or
like just hit one massive song and then just make millions.
Yeah, no, unfortunately, probably not. But I just know that I got to keep doing it. I know I have the tools to do it. I know I have the personality and
you're definitely a talented artist, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I just got to keep doing it and keep putting myself out there. That's the biggest thing. You got to put yourself out there too, even if it's not at the level that you want it to be, because most of the time your expectations, you won't live up to them. Yeah,
cool. So this is a kind of a heavy hitter question for all of our listeners out there who's studying music. So those that are striving out there to complete their degree, what kind of advice or wisdom could you impart on them trying to find work after university and succeeding in your industry?
Depends what they want to do. A lot of the people that wanted to find work in like sound production or sound engineering or anything like that, I know like people from my year who are working full time doing that stuff, but then there was those other people who just wanted that career in music, and it's just something we all chase. The degree wasn't something you do to like get a job after. It's just not one of those degrees. Some people thought it was, like they just thought, I don't know, a viable music career would just land in their lap, but it's not like that.
It's kind of like that grey area, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, the arts, you just got to keep... No, not many people do it. It takes a lot of courage to do. But we were lucky enough to have some really good mentors in uni, like Sam Cromack from Ballpark Music.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the Cup Sport crew.
Yeah, that's right, because they studied here as well.
Yeah, and those guys have made a really good career themselves. Yeah. But yeah, there were some people that I was studying with who are doing big things, like Sweatercurse. They just did, I think they're on the Falls.
Yeah, they are
circuit
actually. I
at
did.
the end
I
of
did
the
see
year.
that. Yeah.
Those guys were younger than me, so
Wow.
they're the year below me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy.
So basically, you just have to strive.
Yeah, you just got to
try your best.
keep doing your thing. I think, I don't know, it takes a certain breed of person to
Find
persevere
yourself.
and do
Yeah.
it. But I'm confident that I'm that breed of person. It just takes a lot of courage to stick at it.
Alrighty, so we do have like a little bit of a Q&A session going on. So we do have a great question from Eden, who is currently studying a bachelor degree of music at QUT. She has asked, how have you established yourself as an artist in today's society, and how has that hindered your ability to gain work or listeners on your socials?
How have I established myself as an artist?
So what was your pathway to going from QUT at uni to where you are now?
Pathway? I don't know, just getting out there.
Yeah, I think we pretty much just answered that kind of. Yeah.
Writing and releasing as much as you can, going to gigs, that's a big thing. You got to meet people.
Yeah.
But yeah, people know me as Kevin, the guy who sings. I don't know, it just happens in the Brisbane music scene. I can walk down the valley and people will be like, yo, Kev, how are you, bro? How's your music? So that's pretty cool.
That is so good, hey?
Yeah. And the socials part?
She's asking how's you gain all listeners on your socials, so how have you promoted your socials?
I haven't, that's one thing that I haven't really put money into, a big PR push or anything like that. It's just through my own personal channels, and I've got I think I've got 80, I think I checked my Spotify, I've got 89 listeners
that's
past
pretty good.
month, and that's good for me.
Yeah.
I couldn't even fit 89 people in my freaking house. So the fact that 89 people, and the city that listens to it most as second is Chicago, and
Oh, so overseas.
yeah, it's wild. So,
international recognition.
Oh,
That's
not
so good.
really. There's probably just a kid in Chicago that loves my song. That's great. That fulfills me.
And then somehow that kid will tell someone else. And
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I haven't put any money really, hardcore money into.
Yeah.
But a lot of bands do.
Yeah.
A lot of people do put a lot of money in it. It's just, I don't know. I'm just honing my craft at the moment, and I'm happy doing that. I'm in it for the long run. I don't think my time's running out anymore. I know, I'm confident that it's going to happen. I've just got to keep chipping away at it.
We've definitely got all of us, and we all support you and promote
cheers.
you all the time too.
Cheers,
so that's
it feels
good way
good
to go
knowing that people believe in you.
Definitely.
Because for a while there, people kind of doubt you.
Yeah.
I feel like once I turned 22, people were like, "Oh no, he's
8 years from 30.
he's actually serious about this, and I think he can do it." But when you're
Younger.
especially in high school,
Stanthorpe,
Stanthorpe, Queensland, there was 40 people in my grade, and I was like, "I'm going to be a singer." They're like, "What?" That's stupid.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So that sounds like it's a wrap, guys. Cool. Thanks so much, Kevin, for allowing us to showcase your career highlights and experiences in the music industry once graduating from university. I'm sure everyone listening today will benefit from the knowledge you have passed out today. Thanks as well to everyone who's listening and tuning into our first podcast for the Creative Future podcast event. Watch this space for our next recording airing soon, where we'll be interviewing a professional from the game design industry. Thanks, Kevin.
Cheers, bro.